Hello and welcome back. Today I'm joined by Hansen, a Man United fan, an influencer and a promoter. He's actually got an event on Friday where he's hosting an evening with Nicky Butt. I'm really looking forward to that and we'll talk about that later. But first, Hans, you were at the game last night. What was it like?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me, John. No, it was brilliant. The atmosphere in the Stretford end was marvelous. It felt almost like the Old Trafford of old because the players gave their all from the first minute, and it just felt like an open football match that we all enjoyed. And with those two goals from McTominay, it's just proof of the passion that he has for the club, and it felt like the first proper Man United game this season.
We've had some frustrating games this season, but the point is, I think Erik Ten Hag really overachieved last season and people were expecting us to hit the ground running again this season. But we're still in a period of transition, aren't we? But we showed last night that when we play the way that Erik Ten Hag wants us to, when the players are all fit, because we've still got a few players not ready, we are a force to be reckoned with, aren't we?
Yeah, and with the money being spent as well as the success last season, the pressure is always going to be on at Man United. And when we don't win football matches, of course, everybody's going to be negative. And if you start to be negative, you will be more negative and so on. So the only thing that helps is winning football matches. And when the players turn up like they did yesterday, that's what they need to do week in, week out. And of course, it's easy for us fans to say they should do this, they should do that. But at the end of the day, they're the professional footballers and have to turn up. And if we play like we did Chelsea yesterday, I think we will be all right going forward. But definitely, Erik Ten Hag should be backed, and I would rather back the manager rather than the players at this point.
Absolutely. I mean, I've worked in the media for well over 45 years, which makes me sound really old, but I get used to reading in between the lines. And the thing about Manchester United is we're the most popular football club in the world. We're the most talked about football club in the world. So everything that happens at Manchester United is always magnified. But the reality is, even though we've had possibly our worst start to a season for decades, we're only 3 points behind the Man City team, which is supposed to be the best team the world has ever seen. So you actually look at the league table, we're not that far behind, are we?
No, not behind City. If you told me before the season started that after 15 games we would be 3 points behind City, I would never have thought in my wildest dreams that we would be sixth in the league. But we still have some work to do, of course we are. But we played poorly. Our strikers haven't kicked on. Our striker haven't even scored in the Premier League yet, and our goalkeeper haven't learned to use his hands yet. And still, we're just 3 points behind Man City, which is well, we could only kick on from here, I think.
I've always been a big fan of the kids. I mean, a lot of our success over the decades has been built on kids. If you go back to the 50s, we had Jimmy Murphy, who won the FA Youth Cup 5 times in a row, the Busby Babes, and obviously Fergie with a class of 92. And it's promising at the moment because we have got so many kids coming through. We've got Nacho, with Mano, we've got other kids like Palestri and Hannibal. And we do produce players that are Premier League quality. And I think it's interesting, actually, that you've got Nicky Butt coming this week because I think it'd be interesting to see what he talks about on your evening on Friday.
Yeah, as you said, we have had so many kids coming through the ranks, and we have had a player coming through the ranks in a match day squad since October 1937, I think. So it's just part of the DNA of the club. And as you said, Garnacho's really hit the ground running this season. Mainu coming in, looking like a proper force. And we know all what Rashford can do. McTominay again yesterday, who was a top scorer this season. But yes, I'm looking forward to seeing what Nicky Butt says. Obviously, he has experience coming through the ranks, both as a player, but also working in behind the scenes, being part of the setup. He was involved when Giggsy was a caretaker manager. He was part of everything under Ollie during the academy and got players through there. So he knows everything there is to know about how to get players through, and maybe even who's going to be the next star coming through the ranks at Man United.
That'll be interesting indeed to see if he can tell us who the next guys are coming through. We've always got kids coming through, and there's nothing that the home fans like more than a homegrown player. I mean, Garnacho, to me, he looks like he's going to be a world superstar. I mean, it's almost he's so young and he's already got a family, he's got a kid, but sometimes people can be pushed too early. But he looks like he's ready. He can take anything in his stride.
Yeah, I think he will use the family situation to his benefit. He's not going to hit the clubs. He's not going to go out chasing girls. He's going to stay home when he's done training. And he likes to copy Cristiano Ronaldo on everything. He's his idol. And Ronaldo does two things in his life. That's training and relaxing. And I'm pretty sure that Garnacho will even copy that. I noticed yesterday on the game, I've seen it before in the other games as well, when he missed a shot, he even reacts to as the same as Cristiano Ronaldo does. He grabs his shorts and pull them up, just like Ronaldo does every single time he misses something. So everything Garnacho does looks like he's copying Ronaldo. And to be fair, that's not the worst person to copy, is it, as a footballer?
Absolutely. I mean, he's a great role model to have. He's stolen his song, he's stolen his place in the team in some respects. And if he
Yeah,
can replicate even half the success Cristiano Ronaldo had, he's going to be a world superstar, isn't he?
yeah. As long as he gets his head in the game and don't get pulled out of everything, everybody wants a piece of him and the PR and everything. As long as he keeps his head in it, I think he could be the next superstar. So look, hopefully he just kicks on. Hopefully he doesn't get injured and just keep on progressing the way he's been doing now, because he got the world at his feet at the moment. And at Man United, there's no better club to be in that position.
Absolutely. I mean, the media love to find fault with Manchester United because I've worked in the media all my life, and unfortunately, it's easy to tell a negative story, and negative stories do sell. And it's almost like a sport. I've turned sort of like I've turned the other side really because I spend a lot of my time calling out the media, and the media is a little bit some of the media, not all the media, can be a little bit like a rat pack because they're looking for weakness, and when they sense weakness, it's almost like they're trying to claim a scalp, and they sense weakness at United this season because of the games that we've lost, and then for me, it's doubly enjoyable to see United proving the media, the doubters wrong, and I think a lot of the fans. I sense this week, certainly on social media, the fans have really, really sided with the manager. And I think at the game, it was kind of noticeable that the fans inside the stadium really support the manager, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, with some of these players, they've thrown so many managers under the bus in the last few years. Even Mourinho, Ole, Ragnick was thrown under before he even started. So these players have it in them to throw a manager under the bus. So I think we all, as fans, are just tired of watching them not giving the effort like away at Newcastle, and just throwing managers under the bus rather than to be held responsible themselves. And we all know the main issue at the club is the Glazers. It's not the manager or the players, but the players needs to step up and take responsibility. They paid an enormous amount of money to play football, and whatever they complain about, they should still be able to play that game of football. But the fans is definitely backing Eric Ten Hag. There's no doubt about it, or at least match-going fans are. Online fans, I don't know. I'm sure whichever fan channel is saying something, most fans will listen to them rather than whatever the club says. But match-going fans is definitely behind Eric Ten Hag. There's no doubt about it. That you could hear it all the way throughout the game yesterday as well.
Absolutely fantastic. I do feel optimistic about 2024, and I do, even though we're not going to get the Glazers out straight away, I do feel optimistic that Sir Jim Ratcliffe can give the leadership that, because at the end of the day, we need leadership. We had fantastic leadership from the manager when Sir Alex Ferguson was in charge, but he was a kind of an old school manager who really controlled every single thing at the football club. Eric Ten Hag is more of an employee. He hasn't got that power that Sir Alex Ferguson had. So we need leadership on the other side to run the club in a really strong way. And even when we look at the transfer market, we tend to sort of dilly-dally. I mean, I do actually quite like Anthony, but there's no doubt we probably pay twice as much money for him. But that's not a fault of Eric Ten Hag. It's a fault, really, of the recruitment, which might be an interesting thing that Nicky Butt might want to talk about. I don't know on Friday. Just trying to think of questions for you on Friday. But I do feel positive. And the thing is, with the media, it does make it harder to succeed at Manchester United.
You need a certain type of character to succeed at United. You need players that could handle the pressure. They need to handle the pressure playing under 75,000. You need to have 1 billion people talk about you at every step of the way, and not every player is cut out for that. And when you have the media pressure as well, and the price tag on some of these players, which is ridiculous. It's not the fault of the players. It's not the fault of the manager. It's the fault of the club, or the Glazers in essence anyway. So, like you say, I'm optimistic for 2024. It can't the structure of the club can't be worse. So with Sir Jim Radcliffe coming in, it could only get better. Let's hope it gets really improved. But I'm cautiously optimistic with him coming in. But I still think that we could be a force to be reckoned with on and off the pitch.
It'd be great if we get another good result on Saturday.
Yeah, hopefully we kicked on yesterday. They showed us what they could do with putting the effort in. We show them how much we love it when they put effort in, because when they go into that first tackle after 30 seconds, every fan in that ground is behind them. And I'm sure it will be Saturday as well, bouncing on to Bayern Munich and then Liverpool away. So let's see. It could be a really good December for us.
Absolutely. I'm really pleased for you, though, Hans, because people are going to turn up on Friday night to listen to Nicky Butt. And there's going to be a lot more positivity in the room, I'm sure, after the result against Chelsea. So before we leave, if you just tell us how we get tickets, how do we get to share the experience on Friday?
Yeah, on Friday we have the event with Nicky Butt. It's the first on Bishop Place. We're going to kick off. It's actually the second only after COVID hit. So we'll be kicking it up with Nicky Butt. We will have events now before every home weekend game, and you could get tickets to meet him, have a dinner, picture, autograph, by following the link that I'm sure you will put up on the screen somewhere, and also turn up at the door at Bishop Place at 6:30 Friday evening.
Fantastic. Looking forward to it. I know you always stage great events. Have you got any other names you want to throw at us?
We had Giggsy, we had Neville, we've had Jaap Stam. So down the pipeline next year is an anniversary for the treble season in '99. So that could be some clue for you, couldn't it?
Okay, absolutely. Okay, look forward to it, Hans, and no doubt we'll speak again on the channel. And really looking forward to Friday, and I hope to see a few familiar faces there.
Yeah, thank you for having me, John.
That's 6:30 Friday night at Bishop Blaze, just around the corner from the Old Trafford Stadium.